In the middle of summer, it's hot. And in Atlanta, it's not only the weather. The Braves have won 7 in a row and have the longest current winning streak in baseball. Coming off a home sweep of the Mets, the Braves now look to keep their streak alive as they battle the National League West-leading San Francisco Giants. Stay hot, boys. The Braves and Giants open up their 3-game series tonight. Last week was a great week for Braves country, and we hope for more of the same starting tonight. Nice crowd filing into Turner Field as we take a look at the first-place San Francisco Giants for the very first time here at Turner Field. All year long, Braves baseball on Sports South is being presented by Academy Sports and Outdoors. The right stuff, the low price, every day. Good evening, friends. With Joe Simpson, I'm Chip Carey. Great to be back at the ballpark where, indeed, Joe, the Braves are red hot. They've won 7 straight games. That's the hottest club in baseball, you know, and they've got a tough opponent in town tonight.
Yeah, the Giants are playing their best baseball of the year right now, too, Chip. But for the Atlanta Braves, they are 8-3 in July. That's the best record in the National League, thanks in large part to this 7-game winning streak and the Georgia Lottery hitting the jackpot. They have definitely done that because they're scoring runs, an average of over 6 runs per game during the 7-game streak. They're hitting some home runs to boot and hitting mostly with men in scoring position. That's what I should say is that's the note that we all should be concentrating on because they're hitting in the clutch so well during this streak. Pitching's been there too, but 2 guys in particular are red hot. The last 7 games, Jason Hayward, a home run, 5 RBIs, and a .333 average, and doing a lot of his damage the other way, but also hitting with power, as he showed here, bouncing off the top of the wall against the Cubs. He's putting the ball in play, driving in runs, and getting a lot of clutch hits. But how about this guy? Freddie Freeman's hit in all 7 of the games. I talked to him around the batting cage tonight. I said, so are you back? He said, I am back. He said, this is the best I've felt in 2 months. I'm seeing the ball much better than I did when he was battling those eye problems, and it is showing in his numbers. So those 2 guys in the middle of the order really contributing big time. They're having a good time, and that's fun to watch.
You get 6 runs a game. It's fun to pitch, and I'm sure Jair Jurgens would like that kind of support tonight. He gets the ball for the Braves. He's on a very hot run as well. We'll break down Jair Jurgens' return from the minor leagues as he faces Barry Zito and the Giants tonight in Game 1 of the series next. For the very first time in the 2012 season, back upstairs in the broadcast booth, Joe Simpson, Chip Carey with you. A look at our Jameson Inn upcoming schedule. Here are the pitching matchups for this three-game series, Joe. It's always a break when you don't see the Giants' Matt Cain or Tim Lincecum, but a worthy opponent in Barry Zito, who's had very good luck against the Braves in this ballpark.
And a nice matchup in that last game. Madison Bumgarner's pitching great baseball so far for the Giants, and Tim Hudson hook up in that business fan special on Thursday. Jair Jurgens goes tonight for Atlanta, and boy, has he done a good job since he came back from Gwinnett. His 4 starts since he came back from AAA, 3-0 with a low ERA, and he credits added strength. His knee is strong, and he's got better velocity than he had in his first few starts when he really got knocked around at the beginning of the year. But it looks like he's back. That's a great sign for the Braves, especially when you consider the addition of Ben Sheets. This rotation is rounding into form.
Barry Zito takes the ball for San Francisco. It's game 1. The Braves and the Giants. Yes, indeed, a potential postseason preview. We'll see if this season works out that way. Braves red hot, try to win their 8th straight. We'll get to the ball game right after this. Academy Sports and Outdoors, by AT&T Uverse, by Delta Airlines, and by Toyota. Just about set for first pitch. It's the Braves and the Giants. Jason Hayward's ready to help the Braves extend their winning streak to 8 consecutive games. Atlanta starts play tonight just 2.5 games behind the Washington Nationals in the East. And they face the first-place Giants, who've won their last 3 ball games. And a couple of former Braves in the top 3 in their batting order. Gregor Blanco leads off. Melky Cabrera is in left field and batting third. Buster Posey, Pablo Sandoval, the Kung Fu Pandas at third base. Angel Pagan's a former Met. He's in center field. And then some newcomers, Hector Sanchez, Brandon Crawford, catching and playing shortstop. And then left-hander Barry Zito will pitch and bat ninth.
There's Jair Jurgens making his 9th start of the year, 26 years old, 6'1", 200 pounds. He's had a lot of success against the National League West in his career. 31 starts, a 16-8 record. He is 2-3 lifetime against the San Francisco Giants. Lost his only start against them last year. That's the only one the Giants have in their last 9 games against Atlanta. His 4 keys to pitching success tonight. 3, 4, 5, 6. they have very low numbers batting average wise in their batting order, except for those guys in the middle of the order. So be careful around those spots in the batting order. Snap, crackle, and no pop. That applies to the Giants. And the fact that they're last in the National League in home runs hit, that doesn't mean they don't hit any. That just means they're not quite the Cincinnati Reds just yet.
And an amazing story about the Giants. They lead their division, but they've been outscored by 2 runs this year. They're the only division leader that's been outscored in 2012.
That's hard to believe, isn't it? But they've had a lot of games where they've been blown out early. Tim Lincecum's had some games where he didn't get out of the 2nd or 3rd or 4th inning because he gave up a ton of runs. So that's why the big run differential.
So Gregor Blanco's ready to go for San Francisco. Gregor hitting .252 for the year. 4 homers, 21 driven in. Braves in at the corners for Blanco, who takes high, ball 2. Comfortable night. It was raining during batting practice for the Braves, but they were able to take part in batting practice, as were the Giants. Very humid night, 77 degrees, the official first pitch temperature.
And this is not a guy he wants to put on the sacks, because as good a year as Gregor's had for the Giants and as important as he has been to their lineup, he's been cold the last month, hitting under 200 the last 27 games.
And that one called a strike. 3-1. And Blanco does walk to start the game. He's 15 of 18 in stolen bases, so Jurgens will have to pay close attention to that. Here's the umpiring crew for the series. Jeff Kellogg is behind the plate. That's Eric Cooper. That's Marty Foster. And that's DJ Rayburn over at third. Here's Ryan Theriot, the former Cub, hitting .274 for the season.
Because of the added playing time for Gregor Blanco that he certainly earned, everything is at a career high mark for him. Home runs, stolen bases.
Called strike for Theriot.
And they will run. Bruce Bochy will put his runners in motion just to try to manufacture some runs, given their lack of power.
The Giants club has stolen 69 bases. They've tried 90 stolen bases this year. That's at the knees. Strike 2 called.
Starting with a good curveball for a strike, and that was a good changeup.
Runner goes, and the pitch ripped back to the screen, foul, and Blanco back to first. Theriot getting a lot of playing time for the Giants because Freddie Sanchez just has not been able to stay healthy. Dislocated his shoulder in the spring. He's missed 89 games the whole year for San Francisco. That's a shame. He was one of the game's really terrific hitters. Some more opportunity for Theriot as Jurgens misses outside. 1 ball, 2 strikes.
Yeah, he was that guy that you could plug in either leading off or batting second. Could hit behind runners. Very Martin Prado like. Solid second baseman.
Blanco runs, pitch out. McCann's throw, short hops, and the tag late. Somehow Blanco got in under the tag of Dan Uggla. Freddie Gonzalez is going to come out and argue that.
That was a great bit of glove work by Dan. Brian rushed his throw a little bit and throws a short hop down there. Had him dead to rights, but good play by Dan. Wow, that looked like he certainly got him, even though the front leg went over the bag. Got the back leg. Top leg never even got the base.
Another look.
See, the front foot comes up. It was way up, well off the bag, so the back leg is what came to the base, and that's the one that got tagged. But it's in the books as a stolen base.
Number 16 for Blanco, and now Terrio with a runner in scoring position. And he's caught looking over the inside corner.
Well, this will be something worth watching this entire series, to keep track of what the Giants do with runners in scoring position, because we just documented how they are last in the league in home runs. They're also down near the bottom of the league in hitting with runners in scoring position. Check it out. 15th out of 16 teams, and the same with 2 out.
So they're 0 for 1 to start. And here's Melky Cabrera. What a pleasant surprise this man has been for the Giants. And he swings the first pitch and rolls out second. 2 outs. Blanco to third for Buster Posey.
Good to see Posey back after that awful injury last year to his ankle.
And Joe getting the start tonight at first base, not behind the plate.
The effort there by Bruce Bochy is to get Posey out from behind the plate occasionally and save his legs a little bit.
A little late, strike 1.
If you gave a vote to both Posey and Bochy on playing first base, however, the vote would be split 1-1, but Bochy's carries the most weight.
Buster's a Georgia boy, as you know, out of Leesburg. And now in a 2-strike hole. Posey played just 45 games last year before that collision at the plate that Joe mentioned. Hit .305 in 2010 with 18 homers. Good stop by Brian McCann.
That saved a run. Sounded like it got a lot of skin. Yep, off the forearm. You're right, Chip. I mean, when he got hurt, that pretty much ended any hopes the Giants had of repeating their World Series championship from 2010.
Oh, that just missed. And that injury was May 25th of last year when Scott Cousins of the Marlins ran over Posey at the plate. A fractured bone in the lower left leg. And a line drive over chipper into left field. And the Giants have broken through. Ball bobbled in left, and Posey never stopped running. He ends up at second base. And it's 1-0 San Francisco.
Hanging breaking ball. He'd made a couple of really good pitches with the breaking ball this inning, but not that one. 48 RBIs for Posey, and it comes with 2 outs.
So their first hit tonight with a runner in scoring position. And as you said, Joe, 3, 4, 5, 6. This time it's the number 4 hitter, Posey, with the RBI hit. And here's Pablo Sandoval, the Giants' third baseman. He's hitting .307 for the year. Take away the numbers for this Giants lineup, I would imagine this is a pretty tough one to pitch to. You've got 2 left-handed bats and 4 switch hitters to try to navigate through.
Yeah, and another switch hitter on the bench, Emmanuel Burris, if they want to use him in the infield.
And Sandoval drives one to shallow left center. Michael Bourne is there and puts it away to retire the side. The Giants cash in a leadoff walk and a 2-out hit from Buster Posey. And Barry Zito has a first-inning lead. Ken's throw to second on the pitch out. Gregor Blanco stole that base and scored on the Posey hit. So the Giants lead 1-0. Here's the Braves offense. And it has been terrific over this 7-game winning streak, averaging over 6 runs per game. Jason Hayward, Chipper Jones, and Freddie Freeman all red hot, hitting behind Bourne and Prado at the top of the order. Dan Uggla hit 7th, Paul Janisch 8th, and Jair Jurgens 9th for Freddie Gonzalez.
And tonight they go against veteran lefty Barry Zito, who in his career at Turner Field, 4 starts and a 3-0 record, an outstanding ERA and batting average against him. His most recent start, not such a good one. 5 innings, 7 hits, 4 runs against Pittsburgh, but he got the win. His 4 keys to success includes getting a lot of support. First pitch, first inning. He does not throw many first pitch strikes. In the first inning ERA, the highest for him in any inning, but he gets a ton of run support, more than any other Giants starter, at 5.29 per start on average.
And you're right, Zito's allowed 13 first inning runs this year and has a winning record despite throwing strike one only 54% of the time.
Yeah, and that's the 4th lowest percentage in the National League. A lot of walks for the guy.
And he strikes out Michael Bourne. 1 down.
He doesn't throw as hard as he used to. In fact, he has a hard time beating anybody with his fastball, but he's still got that one, and that's that big hook, and it's a dandy. Left-handers are only hitting 193 against him this year with very little damage, only a couple of homers. 152 wins in his career, a Cy Young Award, and 3 All-Star appearances.
And now Martin Prado greets him with the bases empty. Prado hitting .318. That's 6th in the National League. And he kills lefties, a .362 average. High fly ball to left. But Melky Cabrera is drifting back and will have room for the second out. And here's the rest of the Giants defense, and it's been a leaky defense for Bruce Bochy. Cabrera, Pagan, and Blanco left to right in the outfield. Pablo Sandoval, Brandon Crawford, Ryan Terrio, and Buster Posey at first. Hector Sanchez is the catcher.
Third most errors in the major leagues and the most in the National League with 71. And you can see when they make an error, they don't have much luck.
1 ball, no strikes to Jason Hayward, a 4-game hit streak.
Left-handers, just get ready. You're going to see a lot of hooks. Zito, of course, part of that great 3-headed monster the Oakland A's had that included the Braves' Tim Hudson and Mark Mulder.
The umpires in the crowd didn't like that call too much. 2 balls, 2 strikes. And that's foul past first. Chipper's on deck. He's our Delta Airlines on deck batter.
Yeah, we talked about Hayward and Freeman in our opening comments. How about Chipper hitting in 15 of his last 16?
Zito signed as a free agent with San Francisco December 29th of 2006. He's signed through next season. And there's a club option for 2014. And a mile-high pop into shallow right. Gregor Blanco is under it. And Zito has no trouble in this first inning. He retires the Braves in order and leads 1-0. At Turner Field tonight. They've seen San Francisco strike first with a first inning run against Jair Jurgens. Angel Pagan leads off the second.
It's kind of a weird sky and weird light right now. It's overcast. Lights are on. Just a funny look to the playing field at the moment. At least from our vantage point. Both teams took batting practice on the field, even though the tarp was at the ready in case they had to cover it up. Looked like we might get a lot of rain. That didn't happen.
Let's just have no power outages, shall we?
Understand that was an issue.
That was an issue when the Mets were here. But so far so good tonight. 2 balls and a strike to Pagan. Ground ball to second. 1 out. Here's the catcher, Hector Sanchez. Sanchez, just a kid. He's 22. San Francisco signed him as an undrafted free agent back in 2006. He's out of Maracay in Venezuela.
Well, of course he is.
All the good ones are, aren't they? Broken bat pop. Giannis going out, but Martin from one Maracay resident to another. 2 outs. And the base is empty for the 8th place hitter, Brandon Crawford. Learn how to make your home more energy efficient with Georgia Power's online energy checkup. It's free and takes less than 15 minutes to complete. Log on to georgiapower.com for more information. Crawford's out of UCLA and hitting .233 for the year.
They really haven't had anybody at shortstop in their organization for several years. They've tried older guys like Orlando Cabrera, before that Omar Vizquel, and they may have rushed Crawford a little bit just because he's in the organization and had a little experience coming out of college, but he's here probably ahead of the pace they would have set for him. But he's their guy, and they're hoping he'll have a little on-the-job training.
Jurgens walks Crawford on 4 pitches, and that'll clear Barry Zito.
Yeah, it's a bad walk. Don't have to tell him that.
But you do have Zito up, and Zito does not handle the bat well.
No, not exactly. One description given to us was that of a guy with a metal scanner walking along the beach. It's about what his swing looked like.
1 ball, no strikes. Barry's 2 for 27 at the plate this year. And now Brian McCann out to talk about it.
You know, we may have been misled a little bit about Zito, because on my stat sheet it only shows 5 strikeouts in 27 at bats, so he's putting it in play. Two balls and a strike.
That's put in play. Giannis at short, backpedals and just does get Crawford at second to retire the side. Chipper Jones will lead off the Atlanta second. He'll be followed by Freddie Freeman and Brian McCann in a 1-0 Giants game. His first win in nearly 2 years came against the New York Mets on Sunday.
Look at those numbers. 2 hits shutout. Got a big out in the first inning to kind of get him on his way when he had some guys on base and got David Wright to hit this fly ball to right, and then settled in and got a W. Still has that big hook, doesn't he? Tell you what, that could be a magical pickup for the Braves if he's able to stay healthy and keep pitching anywhere close to that.
You always hear general managers talk about risk versus reward. You talk about low risk, high reward. That's certainly Ben Sheets. And here's Chipper Jones to lead off the second. Joe mentioned how hot Chipper's been. 15 of 16 games with a hit.
Almost a 400 on base percentage.
Have a month. And that one's yanked foul. 1 ball, 2 strikes.
I was talking to Dave O'Brien, one of the beat writers for the Atlanta Journal-Constitution, who covers the Braves, and he was in Kansas City for the All-Star game, and he said it was really wonderful the way everybody treated Chipper, players, staff, everybody. It was very reverent, and he said, I know he enjoyed being in that place, but he said it was really something to see how everybody was acting and treating Chipper during the All-Star game.
To third, where Sandoval gathers it up and makes the throw to first.
I said to Chipper, I said, you know, I said, way to go, All-Star guy. I said, you really came through with a big hit. I said, I don't know who was laughing harder, you or me. And he went, oh, it was me.
Well, it's the way that guy's career has gone, it's only fitting that he get a hit in his final All-Star appearance. And Zito retires him to start the second, and Freddie Freeman the batter. fans who missed Braves Live in the pregame show, what did Freddie tell you about his play of late?
He just said, I feel better than I have in a couple of months after battling all kinds of issues with his eyes. He said, I'm healthy, my finger's a little better, but especially I'm just seeing the ball better, and this is the best it's been since the beginning of the season.
And Zito misses outside. 3 balls, no strikes. Again, Zito will walk people. Hasn't done that yet tonight. Got a green light. 3 balls and a strike. Sunday, Freddie hit a long home run off Johan Santana.
Like a fastball above the belt, no doubter.
And there's the first walk of the game from Zito. That's the first Braves base runner. 1 on, 1 out for Brian McCann. Let's check in for the first time tonight with Tom Hart. Hi, Tom.
Hey, guys. Thanks. You know, you were talking earlier about Ben Sheets, and everyone knows about his tremendous curveball. But I talked to him today on Braves Live. His fastball is what got him back in the big leagues. How? Well, everyone knows that his son's played a key role in him working his way back. But one night he finally turned to his oldest son and he said, I'm sitting at 85. If I sit at 85 again, I'm just going to shut it down. After he got warmed up, that first pitch, 89 miles an hour fastball, they both celebrated. His son must have celebrated like it was a World Series win. However, there was one issue. It was 11 o'clock at night and the neighbors weren't too thrilled with either one of them.
Hang with them. I bet they're happy now.
And that's really a great story because Sheets' fastball in his start Sunday was sitting at 91. He topped out at 93 a time or two in that game.
Well, Jim Powell, radio voice of the Braves next door to us, gave me a rave review today. I asked him about Ben Sheets, and Jim worked in Milwaukee when Sheets was there, and he said just top-notch guy, great in the clubhouse, a great addition to the ball club.
Brian McCann with a 7-game streak.
Terrio came in and talked to Zito a couple of pitches ago, and I'm just thinking that with 1 out, it's not a typical setup for Terrio for a double play situation. He's way over in the hole.
A cue shot to the mound, and Zito will throw low to first, but a nice play to save an error to take care of Brian McCann. The catcher made a terrific defensive play at first base.
He didn't exactly save a run here, but he did save a wild throw. Zito lollipopped it. He can throw it 60 feet 6 inches, but he can't throw it 30 feet. And Posey had to go to his knees to block this one. And with a faster runner, that's a dangerous spot to be as a first baseman.
So Dan Uggla has the first Braves at bat with a runner in scoring position tonight. And strike 1.
Scouting report we got on Hector Sanchez, their catcher, is that he's a very good offensive player. Not a whole lot unlike Brandon Crawford in that he may have been rushed to the big leagues a little bit, but he got here on the strength of his bat and not his defensive ability. He has more or less become Barry Zito's personal catcher.
But it makes sense. The Giants are so desperate for offense, they'll overlook defensive issues for someone who can split a gap or hit the ball out of the park.
Yeah, they'll even move Buster Posey to first.
And way high, 3 balls and a strike to Dan Uggla.
Got a base open. You got Paul Janisch on deck. Wouldn't look for him to give Dan much to hit here.
High fly toward left. Cabrera drifting back will have room, and that retires the side.
Almost a big mistake there.
1-0 Giants after 2 in Atlanta. Jurgens on the mound in a starting role for the Braves tonight. And here are our McDonald's fans of the game.
Got their Braves caps on, got the Coca-Cola. She's afraid to put it down for fear that her sister might get a drink out of it. Oh, no.
Well, as my grandfather used to say, how do they make them so cheap but taste so good?
Well, she's not giving up. I know that.
Wow. Here's Gregor Blanco. I'm really happy for this guy.
Me too.
Gregor was a member of the Braves organization, as you know. Atlanta originally signed him as a undrafted free agent. He played well at times with the big league club here.
And he always played hard, played the game the right way, always hustled. Talking to Mike Krukow, one of the broadcasters for the Giants, he says that any interview with respect to his time with the Atlanta organization, Gregor has nothing but good things to say about his time here.
And he drives this ball a mile down the right field line. It is going to be foul. A foul ball off the bat of Gregor Blanco.
That was close. Here's a few flashback shots of Gregor. 252 average. Good defense. He's certainly done that for the Giants. And then a launch job. How about this one in Milwaukee? Showing you a little pop, too.
Showed some just a second ago. Luckily, it went foul. The Braves, you recall, in 2010 were making a playoff push. They traded Gregor to Kansas City. That was the deal that brought Rick Ankiel and Kyle Farnsworth to the Braves at the deadline, July 31st. And he He pops the next pitch up into right center field, and Jason Hayward is called off by Michael Bourne. Good start to the top of the third inning. Well, during this Braves and Giants series, we hope you'll follow along with Game Connect. Get an in-depth look at your team leaders and see what the rest of Braves country has to say about them. Get on Game Connect now on FoxSportsSouth.com. Ryan Theriot swings the first pitch. 2 outs.
I still think Ryan's missing out on a big marketing thing. He just changed his name, the way you say it. Giant second baseman. He just called himself Ryan the Riot. I think that would be the play. Maybe that'll be the name of his band. And he had Barry Zito in the band with him.
Not bad. Zito can play the drums and the guitar. Here's Melky Cabrera. When he first walked out on the field, I almost said, who is that?
Yeah, it's a different guy. He's remade himself. He lost about 20 pounds, came to camp with his 4th team in 4 years, and was bound and determined to kind of resuscitate his career. Boy, has he done that.
122 hits, 40 multi-hit games, and how about this week? MVP of the All-Star game and a new father.
And a new baby girl.
And with all that good work, it's no surprise that Melky Cabrera is our SunTrust solid performer.
First in hits and multi-hit games. 3rd in average. And 433. It's even better than Prado's numbers against lefties. You reminded me of something before the game, though, Chip, that a scout had told us when the Braves got Melky Cabrera about how that scout at that time thought that Melky was the best outfielder in the Yankees on the Yankees team. Well, we didn't see signs of that in the time he was with the Braves. Hit 255 with 4 homers and played a lot, 147 games. But he wasn't in shape. You know, he was rounder and slower. Those are the last 3 seasons.
Line past Uglett into center field.
Yeah.
He's going to try for 2, and the throw is going to be late. He couldn't have done that 20 pounds ago. And Cabrera hustles into second base with 2 outs.
This ball had some funny spin on it. It was down low and he hit it off the end of the bat. But he's watching Michael Bourne all the way and really didn't start running hard until after he got around first. But Michael was flat-footed and got nothing on this throw. The short hop late, and I'm not sure why he quit charging it, but the nonchalance allowed Cabrera to get into scoring position.
So now you have Buster Posey up, and he's driven home the game's only run. That was on a hustle play on a base hit to left.
Well, it's that part of the order. 3, 4, 5, 6. You have to deal with them. to go back to Cabrera real quick. We showed you those numbers. Last year with Kansas City, 18 homers, 87 RBIs, and they traded him. Kansas City's not loaded with a lot of offensive talent. No matter what they're doing with their team in terms of rebuilding, you get a guy that has the kind of year he had last year, and you're that anxious to trade him. That might have been a wake-up call for Melky, too.
Well, the Royals wanted pitching. They got Jonathan Sanchez. Remember the left-hander who threw a no-hitter? Jonathan Sanchez was designated for assignment today by Kansas City. So you talk about a deal that hasn't worked out for the Royals. Not only do you lose Cabrera and his even more drastic improvement, the big piece to the puzzle for your rotation didn't pan out either.
Yeah, he didn't get out of the second inning yesterday. I think gave up 7 runs. That was kind of the last straw for the Royals. Real shame.
Didn't get the corner. Now 3-2 to Posey.
Just a little wide. Remember, the hit was a hanging breaking ball.
Base hit to left. Cabrera is around third. Prado loads up, drops the baseball. That's twice Martínez had trouble handling the baseball in the early innings tonight. And San Francisco takes a 2-0 lead.
That looked like perhaps a changeup that hung up in his eyes. So he hasn't missed the 2 mistakes. And Cabrera taking advantage of Michael Bourne being flat-footed. Adds a run after the Giants got a run in the first when it looked like Blanco was out trying to steal.
So 2 2-out runs for San Francisco. Again, a club hitting 182 with runners in scoring position and 2 outs this season. And a couple of hits in that category tonight. And now Pablo Sandoval drives one to deep center that Michael Bourne should track down, and does. 2 straight hits with 2 outs in the 3rd inning. Both RBIs from Buster Posey. The Georgia native has come home and has leading the Giants to a 2-0 score.
Doing his usual thing here at Turner Field, where he came in his last 4 starts with a 2.08 ERA. We'll have to get back to Chip on what in the world he took that he actually made an A in.
Lunch, of course. Here's Giannis. Giannis, the 5th different man to play shortstop for the Braves this year. And interesting philosophies employed by the Braves and Giants with regards to that position this year. Of course, with Andrelton Simmons out, the first opportunity that Atlanta took was for defense, as Giannis drives one to left and Cabrera tracks it down. 1 out. Giants don't care as much about defense at their shortstop spot. They need offense.
Good jump by Melky there. Another sign that he's got a little more hop in his step, having lost some weight. He picked up a half step or more in speed.
So JJ will try to help himself, and Zito delivers a quick strike. Say what you will about Barry Zito, he's 50-67 with the Giants, but he's 3-0 in 4 starts against the Braves in this ballpark.
And in those games, Chip, the one thing that surprised me is that he walked a bunch of people in those games. Those 4 starts, so he's 3-0. He walked 15 total guys in those 4 starts.
But only 1 walk so far tonight. Now he'll go through the order a second time with the bases clear and 2 out. Trivia time.
How have you been doing? How'd you and Tom do?
You've been missed. I'll leave it at that. Our AT&T Ubers trivia question. Name the last Giant lefty to win 20.
Ron Bryant.
You know what?
I'm thinking it because he had the teddy bear that sat with him in the dugout when he pitched. They called him Bear Bryant. Remember that?
Yeah. Okay. I defer to my elder. Statesman to my right, as Michael Bourne looks at ball 1.
I'll go with that when we get to that nitty gritty.
I mean, you didn't even hesitate. One ball, 1 strike to Michael.
Michael's another guy that's been hot lately. Not just the streak, 7-game winning streak, but in his last 10 games hitting .385.
To the left side and foul. Michael will do it again.
Barry Zito, coming out of high school in San Diego. I don't know how big he was, but I'm sure he's probably a tall, skinny kid. Was a 59th round pick by Seattle, didn't sign. Went to USC, and after his 3rd year there, he was a 3rd round pick, didn't sign, and then was the 9th overall pick by Oakland in '99. So vast improvement.
Things worked out well for Zito, and they're working well tonight as he leads 2-0 after 3. He trails by a 2-0 score. And he'll take a second look at Angel Pagan, Hector Sanchez, and Brandon Crawford for San Francisco. And out of play foul by Pagan, strike one. With their 2 runs so far tonight, the Giants have now scored as many runs as their opponents. Showed you earlier that coming into play, the Giants were the only team leading their division to be outscored this season. And this is a critical stretch for them. They have not played particularly well on the road, but play 12 of their next 15 away from San Francisco. Pagan, a bouncing ball, cut off by Freeman, and a race to the bag. Jurgens got there late or missed the bag.
I think he missed it. I think his angle to the bag was so sharp that he had to kind of reach back with his foot and missed it. He's not at the line, running up the line, so he was too far away from the base when he had to catch and lunge. Pitchers are taught to go to the line and then run along the line in fair territory so that you can reach the base.
JJ didn't. That's an infield hit for Pagan, and now Sanchez the batter. Pagan, another man that can run. He's 16 for 18 in stolen bases. Buster Posey got hurt. This kid Sanchez jumped all the way up from A ball to the major leagues last season. This year, 24 RBIs, a couple of homers. And a shot into right field, drops in front of Hayward. 2 on, nobody out.
Well, he came to town hot too. He was 6 for his last 16 in that series against Houston and before the break, so he's feeling pretty comfortable now in the big leagues. Good swing.
Don't blame the Giants catching corps for not doing good work offensively. That's the subject of our Academy Sports and Outdoor Leaderboard.
Combined RBIs from their catching duo. McCann and David Ross second to those guys.
Both Giants RBIs are from their normal catcher, Buster Posey, who's getting the start at first base.
Yeah, and those RBIs are counted only while you're catching.
Ball too high. Jair not nearly as sharp tonight as he's been in starts past. 58 pitches, 32 strikes, 26 balls. He's allowed 5 hits and a couple of walks. That's hit hard to center. Bourne retreats and makes the catch shy of the track. The throw will come into second. That will keep the double play in order. Crawford moves Pagan to third with 1 out, and pitcher Barry Zito's coming up. We hope you'll join us in Atlanta as number 10 finishes his final year at Turner Field with a Chipper Jones 4-game plan. The package includes a ticket to 4 Friday games and 1 set of 4 limited edition Chipper Jones commemorative prints. Those packages start at just $71, so visit Braves.com/Chipper or call 404-577-9100.
quick visit from Roger McDowell, and keep in mind Bruce Bochy, guy who's been managing a long time and a very good one. And I just know that there were many times when the Braves offensively might have been in this situation, and a trip to the mound, Bobby Cox might put on a squeeze on the very next play after the very next pitch after a visit to the mound.
And as you said, despite Zito's low career batting average, he does put the ball in play and does have 4 sacrifices this year and a fast runner at third base. He was butting and missed it.
Uh-oh. Something wrong at first base with Sanchez.
Dave Greshner is the San Francisco athletic trainer.
At his left knee. Maybe right there when he was changing directions. I watched him on the fly ball to center. He went halfway, didn't seem to have any trouble when he was halfway, and then went back to the bag. Uh-oh. Uh-oh. Nope.
He can't continue. Sanchez will come out of the game.
I wonder if he just twisted it when he was changing directions on the missed bunt.
So Sanchez injures himself on that missed bunt attempt by Barry Zito. And Brandon Belt, it appears, will come on and pinch run. Belt's the normal first baseman for the Giants.
That means Posey will go back behind the plate. And they only carry 2 catchers.
So first and third for San Francisco. 1 out, a 1-strike pitch coming to Barry Zito. Sanchez departs. Belts at first as a pinch runner.
Kind of an odd injury when it wasn't involved in a play, really.
Now Belt runs, and the throw will come back toward third, and all hands are safe. So that takes away the double play chance.
He was grimacing a little bit coming off on that lead. So maybe it was something before that.
Infield in for Zito. 1 ball, 2 strikes.
Well, there was another play. I mean, the grizzled veteran manager puts in a pinch runner and sends him on the first pitch.
Look out. Wow, that almost picked off Blanco and the rest of the Giants.
I almost got 2 guys. Almost got Ryan Theriot too, who was standing right into the opening of the Giants dugout. Theriot's right.
Zito, base hit to left under the glove of Chipper Jones. It's 3-0. Wow.
Wow is right. High target called by Brian McCann, but not high enough. Chipper almost looked like that ball stayed down and didn't expect it to. I mean, I think he had the range on it, but it was lower than he expected and kind of stabbed at it.
So it's 3-0 San Francisco. Barry Zito, with only his third hit of the year, drives home Angel Pagan. Now Belt at third, Zito at first, and still only one man out.
Watch Chipper's glove. He'll reach to his left, but watch it go. Oh, that actually kind of came up a little bit. Didn't go down. It was already down. Somehow the hop fooled him.
Blanco walked, stole second on a pitch out. The Braves argued that call and then scored on Posey's first inning double. And now has a 3-2 count.
Luis Avila beginning to loosen up in the Atlanta pen.
Another walk, and this one loads the bases. Now real trouble. Here's Terrio. Ryan's 0 for 2. Line drive, base hit left field. Sanchez, or I should say Belt, will score, and Zito will stop at third. It's 4-0 Giants.
Well, so much for that stat we gave you earlier about hitting with runners in scoring position, because they have certainly capitalized tonight. And another mistake with what looked like a changeup that was left up. They are 4 for 8 according to Laser Baker with runners in scoring position already. We're just in the 4th inning.
And Avalon just got up in the Braves pen, so Jurgens for the moment still on the mound, and he's got Melky Cabrera up there, and Cabrera doubled and scored the second Giants run. Another line drive to left. Zito scores. Blanco, a big turnaround third, will be stopped. The Giants 5 for 9 with runners in scoring position. And that is the last pitch of the night for Jair Jurgens.
Well, he had some odd things happen behind him, including the missed call in the first inning, and Cabrera stretching that 2-out single into a double that led to a run in the third inning. But truth be known, he's made some mistakes tonight with some high pitches, and the Giants haven't missed a one.
3 walks, no strikeouts, 8 hits for Jurgens, and 3 1/3 worth of work tonight. A rough night for Braves starter Jair Jurgens.
First inning, Braves got a tough break here on a call that should have gone their way. Called safe by Marty Foster. Tag on the back foot, got him, but he scored on his hanging breaking ball base hit by Buster Posey. That made it 1-0. Third inning, 2 outs. Cabrera stretched a single into a double, and then on a mistake that was up, Posey again made it 2-0. And here in the fourth, 5 hits and a walk, and all the hits have been singles, including a base hit by the pitcher, who had been 2 for 28 for the season.
So Luis Avilan comes on and pitches for the second time in his big league career. He made his big league debut on Saturday against the Mets and struck out Ike Davis. But a big mess. Braves down 5-0 and the bases are loaded. He answers the AT&T call to the bullpen.
Started the year in Double-A, was pitching well there, mostly as a starter. 12 starts at Mississippi. Got called up to Gwinnett, never pitched there. He got just moved right on to the big club.
And this ball golfed down the left field line, but foul by Posey. 1 ball, 2 strikes. Avilan's taken the place of Johnny Venters in the Braves bullpen. Johnny threw a full bullpen session today and said that went very well. He could be ready to go when the Braves hit Miami on Monday. Two and two. Blanco, Terrio, Cabrera, the Giants runners. And that ball's hammered to left center field and deep. That'll one hop off the fence. 2 are going to score, and Melky's coming around as well. He'll stroll home. It's 8-0 Giants. Buster Posey's having a huge homecoming.
Remember when Buster Posey was at Florida State? He and his agent supposedly put out a number that scared a lot of people off. He was supposed to be the #1 pick in the draft back in 2008. But because of the demands that were kind of thrown around, people backed off, and the Giants said, okay, thank you very much. So they got him with the 5th pick and signed him right away and have never looked back.
They have scored 8 runs in the game's first 4 innings. And now Pablo Sandoval turns around and bats right-handed. He's 0 for 2 so far in the game.
Scored 8. He's driven in 5 of them. Posey.
And they're 4 for 5, says Laser Baker, this inning with runners in scoring position. And 6 for 10 for the game. 2 balls and a strike. Joe told you Barry Zito gets a ton of runs. He's got 8 to play with tonight.
Isn't that weird how that happens? I mean, they just came off a sweep of the Astros, but they didn't blow them out. They were all close games, low scoring games. And then his turn comes around, and they already have 8 on the board. And his last start, as I told you before the All-Star break, 11 days ago. And right now he's throwing a no-hitter through 3 innings. That game in Pittsburgh on the 6th, 5 innings, 7 hits and 4 runs, but he won the game 6-5 because of the support.
It's been said before. It'll be said again. Sometimes it's not how you pitch, but when. And Zito getting a ton of support and pitching well. As Sandoval is down swinging. That's the second out of the frame, and Angel Pagan, the man that started this fourth inning, is the man Atlanta hopes will end it too.
Yeah, that was another quirk about this inning with Pagan leading off. He was 3 for 30 in his career against JJ after his ground out in the second inning. And then that miscue at first of his own making where he didn't, they had the out at first, but Jurgens couldn't get his foot to the bag. Got this all started. This is what started the inning. Took a sharp angle to the bag where he couldn't reach the base after he got the throw.
Oh, 0-2 to Pagan. That'll reach the seats. Bruce Bochy hoping his Giants get to 10 over 500 with a win tonight. They're 49-40 and have a 2-game lead in the West. Dodgers in second place. They host the Phillies and Roy Halladay tonight. All of a sudden the Phillies starting to play much better baseball and Halladay back in rotation.
I'm sure the Dodgers were hoping for a little help from Atlanta, but it's not coming tonight. Not so far.
And a swing and a miss retires Pagan. Giants send 10 to the plate. The big blow, Buster Posey, a bases clearing double, part of a 5 RBI night, and the Giants lead by 8 in the fourth inning. Coming up against Barry Zito. Defensive changes for the Giants. Brandon Belt came on as a pinch runner. Remains in the game to play first base. That means Buster Posey moves back behind the plate. And Barry Zito's been the nemesis. He has not allowed a hit so far.
Barry Zito's got one of those Tim Hudson type numbers in his career when he gets at least 4 runs of support. He's 118-7, 33-3 while with the Giants. He's got 4 and then some tonight.
That's pulled foul by Prado. 1 ball, 2 strikes. Must be something in the water in Oakland, huh? With the numbers of Zito and Tim Hudson.
Yeah.
Back our way, foul. It's still 1-2. And the word on Hector Sanchez, he left the game with a left knee strain. There's the first Atlanta hit. Good start for Martin Prado tonight. Part of a big day for the Braves left fielder, right, Tom?
Yeah, Chip, you're absolutely right. You know, it's not just his versatility that stands out to those in baseball, but also his heart and hustle. And pregame today, Hall of Famer Don Sutton took the field to help honor Martin Prado as the Braves winner, as a Major League Baseball Players Alumni Association Heart and Hustle Award, one of 30 preliminary winners in Major League Baseball. He'll be eligible to win the entire award for all of Major League Baseball at the conclusion of the season.
Well-deserved honor for Martin Prado.
Yeah, and that's a cool thing because they break it down, as Tom said, by team, and then Major League Baseball Players Alumni Association votes on it. And those guys to be honored that way by MLB alumni, they're recognizing what you do for your team and how you play the game.
Here's a question for you. You mentioned that Sanchez has been Barry Zito's personal catcher. He's hurt. Now you've got Posey working behind the plate. Different rhythm to the game for this Giants battery, you think?
I wouldn't think so. They've been together enough that I don't think it would be too much of.
In the air to center. That's playable for Pagan. 1 out.
I don't think it would upset the apple cart that much for Barry Zito, especially when he's got 8 to work with.
Here's Chipper. .22 of Chipper's home runs in his big league career have come against San Francisco pitching. That's 22 of his 461. As you know, Chipper is 1 behind George Brett for the all-time RBI lead by men whose primary position was third base. Hot shot. Sandoval, a nice play and a nice turn at second by Terrio. The Braves are doubled up in the 4th inning. That ball was smashed toward the Kung Fu Panda. And Barry Zito maintains his shutout bid. 8-0 your score after 4. It's the top of the 5th inning, and unhappy totals tonight. 8-0 Giants. And Brandon Belt is the batter for the first time. He came on as a pinch runner after Hector Sanchez left with a knee strain. A big swing and a miss.
Avilan gave up the double to Posey to clear the bases and missed on a changeup, but then struck out Sandoval and Pagan on changeups with good pitches. And 92 with that sinker. That's good.
Facing Brandon Belt, the pride of the University of Texas. He was a former pitcher, became a position player in college.
Well, with a name like that, you ought to be a hitter,
right?
Not a pitcher.
That's low and outside. 1 ball, 2 strikes. Belt's big kid, 6'5", 219 pounds. 24 years of age. This is a man the Braves scouted and drafted. Boston took him in the 11th round in 2006. He didn't sign. The Braves took him in the 11th round in 2007. And the Giants picked him in the 5th round in 2009. Finally were able to get him under contract. And Avilan has his 3rd strikeout. Good pitch and a good start to the 5th inning.
Well, that was a hook, and that was a beauty.
Base is empty for Brandon Crawford. The Braves welcome the Marlins to town. A 4-game series starts Monday, July 30th. Always fun to see the Fish come to town. And Ozzie Guillen, their always talkative skipper. Call 800-745-3000 or visit Braves.com for tickets today. Ozzie Guillen, the Marlins are in Chicago. Ozzie Guillen back in town for the first time as the Marlins skipper. They're playing the Cubs. That game scoreless. Washington's hosting the Mets and winning 1-0 in the 7th.
I believe that was Neeson Detweiler. Well, this guy's got some good life on his fastball. Good sinking action down and into the lefties. Change up to the right-handers.
Well, he's faced 5 big league hitters and struck out 4 of them. And now surrenders a hit to Crawford.
Well, one thing that he's figured out already, or hopefully will figure out, is that you can't pitch up there. No matter how good your stuff is, when you're keeping it down and it's moving, it's one thing. But if you leave anything up to this level of hitter, it gets very loud. And that was above the belt, and a good swing there by Crawford.
That snaps an 0 for 12 streak for the Giants shortstop. And now Barry Zito, the batter, an RBI hit in the 4th inning. And Zito also scored a run. The bunt to the mound. And a runner to second, 2 outs. And Gregor Blanco, the batter. The Braves have walked him twice, and Gregor scored twice. Pretty amazing, Joe, what the Giants have been able to do this year with a 3-10 year out of Tim Lincecum. I mean, who would have thought that?
Well, the emergence of Madison Bumgarner is really helping kind of cover that up. I mean, I know the Lincecum trials have been well documented across the country, but hidden in all that is how good Madison Bumgarner is.
And so in a series where the Braves don't see Lincecum and don't see Matt Cain, Barry Zito's given the Braves trouble tonight. Got Ryan Vogelsong here tomorrow. He's 7-4 with a low ERA. And Bumgarner wraps up the homestand on Thursday afternoon.
And he's 11-5.
That is a fair ball and off the glove of Freddie Freeman and down the right field line. Streaking around is Crawford, and he will score. 9-0 Giants.
And 22 RBIs for Blanco. And he gets that knock off a left-handed pitcher. Right over the bag. Freddie did a good job just to get leather on it, but couldn't corral it.
So great night for Blanco, and here's Terrio. Single runs for the Giants in the first, third, and here in the fifth. The big frame, the 6-run fourth.
That was only the third time, Gretchen Caney tells me, only the third time all year that the Giants have had an inning where they've scored 5 or more runs, and that's last in Major League Baseball, the fewest innings to have done that. This is a big coming out party for their offense tonight.
You bet. Terrio out of LSU. Mike Fontenot was his double play combo mate in college. Both former Cubs.
He's bounced around the last couple of years, but he's always found a home with good ball clubs where they appreciate his experience and the way he plays the game. He's a tough cookie.
Cubs, Dodgers, Cardinals, and Giants for Ryan Terrio in the big leagues.
Got a ring last year with St. Louis.
That's well hit to left. Martine's going back, still going back, and hauls it in. Terrio gave it a ride to left, but is retired, but not before the Giants add a 9th run. Halfway through our ball game, it's all San Francisco. by the Home Depot and by AT&T. 9-0 Giants. Let's see if the Braves can mount a rally against Barry Zito in the home half of the 5th inning. Freddie Freeman, Brian McCann, and Dan Uggla are coming up. Freddie was the first Braves base runner tonight. Zito walked him with 1 out. Again, the storyline for Barry: gives up a lot of hits, gives up a lot of runs, walks a lot of people. None of that has happened tonight for him. And his ace in the hole might be pitching here at Turner Field in Atlanta.
It must be. There's something about his comfort level here. Batting 8 runs. Do it every 9 runs and do it every time. But he's thrown more strikes tonight. He's even thrown more first pitch strikes than I expected him to throw, especially after his start in Pittsburgh 11 days ago.
Popped into shallow left. And a nice play by the shortstop Crawford to hang with it. Tough sky at this time of night. And Freeman is out number 1. Well, welcome back from vacation, partner. Let's see if you got your cue cards all organized during the break.
Yeah, well, Kathy gave me a little primer on that. You know, we went through them again, but I'm just going to stick with Ron Bryant. You can go sudden Sam McDowell if you want, or Mike McCormick. I think Mike was left-handed.
I'm with you, winner tie. Wow.
A little rest will do you wonders.
And McCann up the middle and has an infield hit. Second of the night for the Braves. And that gives Bryant an 8-game hit streak. So Ron, I mean, you were immediate with that answer.
He was good. He was real good. He's kind of from that John the Count Bonifusco era.
Uggla hits with a man aboard and 1 out. And flied out his lone time up there.
I love that line. I think it was David Ross, but it may have been one of the other guys, because they all call Brian McCann B Mac.
Yes.
And now, after the baby, call him B Mac Daddy. I like that a lot.
Colt McCann.
He cracked me up today. We were talking about the baby. I'm not sure. It was kind of a yogiism. Okay.
Okay.
You ready?
Yeah.
He said, he looks more like me as a baby than I did.
Now, what's scarier, that he said that or that we know exactly what he's talking about?
I think that was it. The second part.
What a wonderful, life-changing experience for Brian and Ashley and their families. As a ground ball to third. Another turn by Terrio. This one a little too slow developing to beat Dan Uggla at first base. 2 outs.
Doesn't matter what the score is, though. You know Dan's going to hustle down the line.
And that keeps the inning alive for Giannis. Go behind the scenes with John Smoltz during his induction into the Braves Hall of Fame. Our cameras follow Smoltzy through the entire weekend of events as he's celebrated by family, friends, and Braves alumni. Tune in to Spotlight John Smoltz Hall of Fame weekend tomorrow after our game on Sports South. Look out. That hit him, or was it fouled away?
I hope it hit the bat. I guess it did. Braves are running through shortstops a little too fast.
Collection got Posey. Let's see where it got Paul.
It got Yanish on the bat.
Popped up. Sandoval, foul ground, won't have a play. Do it again, a ball and 2 strikes.
There's another guy that's in a little better shape this year.
Yeah. That's been a battle too for Pablo Sandoval.
Yeah.
Fly ball shallow left. And Crawford is there. And that is that for Atlanta in the 5th. 9-0 San Francisco in game 1. More games to follow. Still some work to be done in game 1. 9-0 San Francisco after 5.
And another multi-hit game for this guy, Melky Cabrera, who leads baseball in that category.
.41 of them now. He's scored twice. He's knocked in one, and he's put 2 more points on his batting average. Joe, he's hitting .355 now.
And if that's not enough, leading off an inning, he's got an on-base percentage of .445. Who is this guy, and what's he done with Melky? Tell you what, if you're a National League fan, you had to appreciate what the Giants players did, though, in the All-Star game. They were a wrecking crew.
Yeah, I was one of the people complaining about the ballot box stuffing or the internet.
Me too.
Mailbox stuffing. But boy, the Giants players had a huge impact in the National League's All-Star victory. There's a strike. It's 3-2. Melky was the MVP. Matt Cain pitched great. Pablo Sandoval had a big hit. And who knows, maybe the Braves or the Giants will be the ultimate beneficiary of Game 7 of the World Series.
Three straight wins for the National League that was started 3 years ago by Brian McCann's clutch double in Anaheim.
Swing and a miss by Melky Cabrera. Another strikeout by Avalon. And here's the Giant work in Kansas City.
Bases loaded triple by Sandoval, which was the first in All-Star history. Matt Cain got the win. 2 great innings of work by him starting the game. And Melky kind of put the capper on it with this bolt into the bullpen.
Buster Posey lines one to right. And 2 outs. But I don't know about you, Joe, but I love the idea that the league winning the All-Star game gets Game 7, especially the last 3 years.
Thanks for trying to lead me there, but no. Still not on board. I'm happy that it worked out for the National League and potentially the Braves, but still not on board.
But you had to be proud too of the show the folks in Kansas City put on.
Oh,
as a former
nothing
Royal.
but rave reviews from everyone. It's an exhausting process too, because I remember the last time the Braves hosted and talking to everybody on the staff involved, and I mean it wasn't just a couple of weeks trying to put it together before everybody got here. It was a full 12-month, if not longer, planning process.
The Mets are on the clock now. Citi Field, I believe, has the All-Star game next year, and it's rumored that Minneapolis will get it in 2014. That's the rumor. We'll see if that comes to pass in the weeks ahead. 1 ball, 1 strike to Sandoval.
Well, I think it'd be a great idea to have it in Minneapolis. It'll be in July. The snows will have melted.
That's down and in. 2 balls, 2 strikes. Just past 9 o'clock in the East. All Giants 9-0 they lead. For all the good work that Jair Jurgens has turned in since coming back from the minor leagues, he was 3-0 coming in. Tonight was not a good night. As Chipper at third, bare hand pickup, still amazingly accurate with that throw. Avalon, terrific work out of the Braves bullpen. Chipper, a nice play at the hot corner. One fan's got a rally cap on. Let's see if Braves bats can do just that. All year long, Braves baseball on Sports South is presented by Academy Sports and Outdoors. Right stuff, low price every day. And look who's batting in this Atlanta sixth.
Luis going to stay in there and pitch some more and gets his first big league at bat. And a baby. Cut it loose. You know, the starting pitchers come out, and they get a little round of BP every day unless they're pitching that day. Poor guys in the bullpen, they never get to hit.
Posey couldn't hang on to that one. 1 ball, 2 strikes.
Although the board says 1 ball, 3 strikes. It could. Now it's 1 ball, 4 strikes.
Popped up. And Pagan handles in shallow left center. 1 out. The Braves are honored to host the Delta Civil Rights Game again in 2012. Be here as the Braves and Dodgers take the field to celebrate the role Major League Baseball has played in the civil rights movement. Visit Braves.com/civil rights for details or call 800-745-3000 for tickets. Braves, I believe, hosted the Phillies last year during the civil rights games here in Atlanta. Can't help but think how fitting it is to think of the Dodgers being a Braves opponent for the civil rights game with Jackie Robinson and Branch Rickey and all the greatness that came along with his arrival in Major League Baseball. August 17th, 18th, and 19th.
Great weekend.
Another fly ball left center. Another chance for Pagan, and he'll track it down. Zito's had Michael Bourne's number. Michael is 0 for 3 in the game. Game 2 of the series here tomorrow. Here are your Chevron upcoming starters.
Well, with the addition of Ben Sheets, somebody got bumped from the rotation, and it was Randall Delgado. So Mike Minor is still in there. He will go tomorrow. There's Ryan Vogelsong, who will make his first appearance, I believe, at Turner Field, even though the Braves have seen him before, and he's having a good year. 2.36 ERA.
You're right about Delgado. In fact, Randall pitched yesterday for Gwinnett. Went 5 innings, allowed 6 earned runs, a couple of homers, and 5 strikeouts. But he will be called back up to the big league club and will pitch one of the 2 doubleheader games against the Nationals on the road.
You know, when a guy gets sitting down like that, who's been in your rotation or who's been playing a lot, even like when Tyler Pasternak got sent down, there's kind of a built-in, I don't know how else to describe it. There's a little bit of a pout factor.
Okay.
You know, so you got to weather that for a couple of days with a position player so they get their head right and start getting back into the way they play the game. And I think the same applies to a pitcher when the disappointment is still there that, gosh, I'm back in AAA pitching, I'm back in the minor leagues pitching, and you know, you're just not with it yet. So I think you can hopefully write that off on Randall last night.
High fly to shallow left. Melky Cabrera near the line and stands, and can't make a play. Now, the old days, if a player, well, it still is true, if a player is sent down to the minor leagues, you have to stay 10 days unless there's an injury. You can come back up. New collective bargaining rule is that if there's a doubleheader, you can call a 26th player up for that doubleheader date only. And even if it's a player you've just sent down to the minor leagues, you can bring him back for that 1 day without penalty, and that'll be the case for Delgado.
And that's a good rule, a real good rule, because teams were kind of doing it anyway. They might call up a guy, have him sit in the hotel, and then show up in between games so that he can start the second game, activate him suddenly for the second game. So in essence, he was kind of a 26th guy anyway.
Angel Pagan leads off the 7th. Avalon doing some good work out of the Braves bullpen so far tonight. He's gone 2 2/3 and has struck out 4 Giants. As Joe mentioned earlier, he has started. And a line drive into center starts the 7th inning. Braves hoping for a little help from the Mets tonight. Atlanta started play 2.5 games off pace. And in Washington, see you later for Tyler Moore.
You hit one over the curly W. I'm telling you that. Not to be confused with the first W. Well, never mind.
The curly W will forever live in infamy.
Next time we see Bob Carpenter, we'll have to.
Yeah.
Where's that curly W again?
That's the division race at the moment. As Brandon Belt hits one to right. That's playable. Jason Hayward. Mets might be in a little trouble, Joe. They were swept by the Braves coming out of the break. Their bullpen is the worst in baseball as far as the ERA is concerned. And now they're head to head with Washington. They lose tonight. They fall 7 back all of a sudden.
Well, I think if there were awards for first half, you'd have to give the Mets some awards. Maybe Terry Collins for just the great job he's done of keeping that ball club in contention with all the injuries and changes in personnel they've had. But at some point, that's all going to catch up to you.
Brandon Crawford's the batter. I mean, just about every publication said that the Mets had no chance to compete in the East. They are certainly competitive. And Tom Hart, the Mets are only 3 back in the wild card. So what's Sandy Alderson and company going to do?
Well, he announced today, Chip, that they're going to be buyers. They're looking for bullpen help, and they're specifically going to go out and try to find some relievers to help shore up that bullpen, which is a surprise to some, I think, in New York. But he said that today before their game.
Well, they got to get Frank Francisco back. I know that they miss him at the end of games. I still like Bobby Parnell. I know he's probably not a closer, even though he's forced into that role right now. He's got a tremendous arm. But that, I think, that ought to be an area that you'd be able to fix your club a little bit. There are some arms out there for some of the clubs that aren't contending. You might be able to pick up a couple of guys that would make you a whole lot better than what you have.
Well, the Mets bullpen on that final Sunday here against the Braves, 18 losses, 14 blown saves, and an ERA approaching 5. That's out of their relief corps. And there was some talk, Joe, that Matt Harvey or Zach Wheeler, the 2 prized pitching prospects, are getting moved up the ladder. And there was some talk that maybe Harvey might join the rotation for New York. A rotation that's already without Dylan G, who, as you know, had the artery surgery and is probably lost for the year. Crawford with a 2-strike hit puts runners at first and second in the Giants' 7th inning.
Villan might be getting a little tired here. 59 pitches, hasn't had that much work. Nobody in the bullpen as yet. Zach Wheeler's a kid that I think I'm certain was drafted by the Giants just ahead of the Braves a few years ago out of Cartersville, Georgia. Braves really liked him and would have taken him next, I think, and then the Giants traded him to New York in the Carlos Beltran deal. Thanks, Chip. So it's nice to hear that he's on the verge of getting to the big leagues.
Or at least moving up, that's for sure. As Zito bats and takes a ball low. There were some whispers, too, that maybe they would go after K-Rod again.
Well, I don't mean to make it sound like, oh, that's easy. Just go get yourself a couple of guys to the bullpen. That's an easy cure. I know it's not. But it's a whole lot easier than saying, okay, we've got to go find us a starting shortstop in the big league somewhere that'll help us get over the hump. Well, that's not easy to do.
Right.
Nobody's going to give you one of their shortstops if.
Well, the deadline's 2 weeks away. As Zito pushes the bunt toward Chipper. The Mets, 6 games out of first in the East, are only 3 back in the wild card. Remember, there are 2 wild cards now.
Right.
Is that going to make it tougher or easier for teams and general managers to make deals to improve their ball clubs in your estimation?
It might make it tougher because there are more teams involved. You got more, I'll say, lottery balls in the hopper to pick from, you know, so people might be hanging on to their players until the last minute to find out if they're going to be involved with a chance to get that second wild card spot.
One of the baseball blogs today brought up a point that I hadn't thought about. As Gregor Blanco's the hitter for the Giants. One general manager, who was obviously nameless, said, is going for it as the second wild card even worth it? Because you are guaranteed only one game. And you may not even get a home game, and you may have to invest $4, $5, $6 million. Hadn't thought about that part of it. So a whole lot of things for the GMs to think about with 2 weeks until July 31st.
The Home Depot tools in the dugout tonight for the Giants, an area where they have really been bad, 29 out of 30 teams, but tonight, especially in the 4th inning, they have done a great job. 9 runs on 13 hits. Gregor Blanco right in the middle of it with a base hit and an RBI and 2 walks. Buster Posey's driven in 5.
Just think how dangerous this Giants team would be if they scored 4 or 5 a night with their pitching. They've scored 9 in game 1. A good pitch to Blanco. 2 balls, 2 strikes. Big stretch of games for the Giants. They go to Philadelphia after this series. And Gregor Blanco will go grab his glove as Avalon strikes him out and strands 2 Giants runners. 7th inning stretch, 9-0 San Francisco. Out of the 7th inning, Jason Hayward, Chipper Jones, and Freddie Freeman are scheduled. Some big names are injured with 2 weeks to go. Jose Bautista hurt his left wrist on that swing against the Yankees last night. And yesterday in Boston, while the Red Sox were playing the White Sox, Adrian Gonzalez hit a homer. But watch rounding second, Big Papi David Ortiz, a little bit of a stumble, and he's hurt his Achilles. Both Bautista and Big Papi are getting MRIs, and both of those players would be huge losses for their respective clubs in the AL East.
Don Sutton, Jim Powell doing the radio broadcast from the stands tonight.
Jason Hayward is the Atlanta hitter and is 0 for 2. Popped up. Posey gives chase, won't have a play, and the count even. Mets are threatening in the 9th. They have 2 on with 1 out in Washington. Nationals lead that game 2-0. Remember, Washington in their last win had the bases loaded against them and nobody out and held on. Tyler Clippard got it done for Davey Johnson's crew. 1 ball, 2 strikes to Hayward. By the way, speaking of injuries, what a shame Joey Votto, huh? And Hayward is called out on strikes. 1 man down. Joey Votto against the Giants was sliding into third base and hurt his knee. Torn meniscus. He's out anywhere from 3 to 6 weeks for Cincinnati.
That's a huge blow. I mean, he's so big in their lineup. Everything they do, they're going to have to do. Somebody's going to have to really step up. Now they got Jay Bruce, they got Sky Rowland, some guys who can step up and hit some and drive in some runs. But their problem is they don't have a leadoff hitter. They don't have anybody getting on base in front of those guys, even when Votto was healthy.
And you could make the case that Joey Votto might be the best player in our league that not many folks talk too much about because of the small market of Cincinnati.
He got an award for that, you know, being the best player in the league.
Yes, well. might be in line to pick up another one of those. 1 ball, 2 strikes. Good news for the moment in Washington. We'll explain after this pitch to Chipper. Jordany Valdespin of the Mets has hit a home run. It is under review. At the very least, it could be a game-tying double. It's still under review. If that is ruled a homer, the Mets would lead in the 9th. We'll keep you posted. And a full count to Chipper Jones.
This is really good news for the Giants in the way that Barry Zito's pitching tonight. Twirling this 2-hit gem. Coming into this start, in his last 6 games, he was 2-4 with an ERA over 6 and averaging over 5.5 walks per 9 innings. So tonight, just 1 walk, right?
Yep.
And only 2 hits allowed. Granted, he's had a big lead to work with since the 4th inning, but he's been sharp.
And your point, if you factor in Zito, Bumgarner, Kane, and Vogelsong, take Tim Lincecum out of the equation. That foursome for the Giants is 34-18. Lincecum 3-10. Chipper drives one to right. Gregor Blanco near the line will have room, and that's the 2nd out.
Well, Barry Zito's doing it with about a 85 to 87 maybe mile-an-hour fastball. But he's changing speeds, he's moving it around, and he's throwing that big Uncle Charlie. Something he's always had, that's always been his best friend. Change up there, but Chipper hit it hard right at Sandoval. A couple of double plays turned behind him tonight.
And with all due respect to Barry Zito, if Jamie Moyer can do it, so can he. Freeman drives one deep right, and that's high off the fence. Blanco plays the bounce perfectly. Freeman doubles with 2 out and very nearly spoiled the shutout bid.
I don't know how it could get any closer to going out without going out. Saw Hayward hit one off the top of the fence for a home run against the Cubs. And was just a little below the yellow line. Just to the side of the Curly C.
Well, Freddie told you before the game he's locked in, and he continues his good work. He's got an 8-game hitting streak. So does Brian McCann, who singled in his last time up. So the review is over in Washington. Jordany Valdespin has hit a 3-run homer for the Mets. 3-2 in the 9th. New York leads it. Ground ball up the middle. And Terrio at second is there. And that retires the side. No runs, a hit, a man left. A gem from Barry Zito. A 3-hit shutout working. Hour by Ram Trucks and by Blimpie. Joe and Chip back with you at Turner Field. Tom Hart along as well. 9-0 San Francisco. A couple of defensive changes for the Braves. Juan Francisco takes over for Chipper Jones. He'll bat in the 9th spot on the lineup card. And Anthony Favaro was warming earlier, I think, but instead it's Christian Martinez out to pitch. He's the third Atlanta pitcher and answers the AT&T call to the bullpen.
His 31st game. Worked in 2 games of the Mets series, 2 innings of 1 hit, 1 run ball. Walked 1, struck out 4 in those 2 innings.
Well, a night like this, you try to find as many silver linings as you can. I think you'd have to say that Louis Avalon's work in relief had to be a real bright spot tonight.
Good job by Luis Avilan. Gave up 1 run. That run came home on that hard hit ball. Granted, that was off the glove of Freddie Freeman that he couldn't corral, but that was the only run he gave up in his 3 2/3 innings of long relief. 5 hits, no walks, 5 strikeouts. Good work.
And good work's been the story in July for this Braves bullpen. 2-0, a 1.98 ERA coming into play tonight. So the relief corps has been terrific for the Braves. The only bullpen that's pitched better than Atlanta's is Oakland's in the month of July. And how about the A's? They've won 20 of their last 28 ball games in the American League West. They're over 500 and thinking about adding players and making a run at the wild card.
They're leading the American League in pitching, by the way, overall. Something that took me by surprise today when I saw it.
And you know, Billy Beane is just chomping at the bit with that Oakland club. They're only a half game back in the wild card. Imagine Billy Beane at the trade deadline. You know he'll be busy if allowed to do so.
He'll be fired up to add any payroll.
One and 2 to Melky Cabrera. Big night for the Giants. And he's caught looking over the inside corner. Second time Cabrera's been struck out tonight.
You know, that's an interesting situation out in the Bay. And we got the Giants here, but with the owners of the A's wanting to build a new ballpark, preferably down by San Jose somewhere, to take advantage of a population base down there that would help them. Trouble is, that's the Giants' territory, and the Giants are not willing to concede that. I don't know what will ultimately, how that'll ultimately be resolved, but the A's would like to have a ballpark of their own and not have to share it with the Raiders.
I don't know the answer to this question, but what did the Nationals have to give Baltimore when the Expos moved to Washington, D.C.?
I don't know the whole agreement, but I know a lot of it had to do with TV rights.
Okay.
Their Masson network, the Orioles got to control a lot of that because it did infringe on their territory.
Tom, you have more on that for us?
Yeah, guys, I saw some of the paperwork. I understand that the Nationals were not allowed to use straight W's anywhere in the ballpark.
That was part of it. I think that was like 3rd on the list. I'll tell you what, that Tom, investigative reporter.
Line down the right field line and just foul.
I suppose he's had himself quite a night, but take a look at this. This is the way you want to go up there and hit. Hanging breaking ball, high out, RBI single. Upstairs, belt high, RBI single. That looked like a changeup. Avilan came in, bases loaded, hanging breaking ball. He didn't miss that one either. Those were his first 3 at bats. and then he lined out his last time up.
Team leader in RBIs with 47 coming in. He's up to 52 now. Two and two. Another strikeout for Christian Martinez. 2 outs in the 8th. Saturday, August 4th, the UFC returns to Fox with 4 massive fights, including knockout artist Shogun Rua taking on Brandon Vera in the biggest fight of his career, plus an epic bout between former UFC champ Lyoto Machida and rising star Ryan Bader. UFC Fight Night on Fox is sponsored by Bud Light. It's live from LA Saturday, August 4th at 8 Eastern, 5 p.m. Pacific. I guess nobody in the UFC is named Smith, Jones, or Brown, but we got through it as best as we could. 2 outs.
That's why they had to fight.
And Sandoval rips it foul. He wants to get on the phone offensively. He's 0 for 4 tonight.
You'd be a fighting son of a gun, too, if your name was Chip Hua.
Hoo-ha.
All right, I had Gretchen look it up for me after Posey was up there, and I was thinking about those picks that teams passed on him when he was going to be the kind of the consensus #1 pick in 2008. Here are the teams that passed on him. Tampa Bay took Tim Beckham.
Okay.
Pittsburgh took Pedro Alvarez. Kansas City took Eric Hosmer. And Baltimore took Brian Mattis, pitcher.
So Posey falls to 5th, you said? 5th overall. Fly ball to center. Michael Bourne will track it down.
You couldn't trade all 4 of those guys for Buster Posey right now.
Not now. 9-0 Giants. Last of the 8th. 4th inning. Time to go to the Twitterverse. And on National League News, we've been talking about some of those stories tonight. Joe Parker, Joe Simpson is curious of your opinion on the Ozzie Guillen Bryce Harper showdown the other day in National League play.
I know Ozzie so well, and I like Ozzie, but sometimes some of that gamesmanship, goes a little overboard, and I didn't see what Harper did to really irritate him the at bat before, but for Ozzie kind of took it out on the pine tar.
Pop fly foul by Dan Ugla out of play.
But it seemed like he made a mountain out of a molehill in a way. Again, I wasn't there to see the whole episode, but I appreciated what Bryce Harper said about him afterwards, saying he was a competitive manager and he's just trying to find an edge and let it drop at that. I like that.
I got to tell you, that's two incidents, I guess, with Bryce Harper where he's really shown he's wise beyond his 19 years. Remember the Cole Hamel stuff?
Right.
When he hit him early this year. And then with Ozzie Guillen, as Ugla takes a called third strike. I mean, the kid could have popped off or said something that he later regretted. He's handled that pretty much every other situation perfectly, I think.
Well, he's going to be around a long time. Good Lord willing and the creek don't rise. He stays healthy, and he's certainly smart enough not to make enemies this early in his career.
It's George Contos pitching for San Francisco, by the way. As Giannis pops one up, Belt gives chase and tumbles into the seats. Let's see if he's all right. Great effort. And strike one.
That had to hurt. First to bang your knee into the tarp and to not really come anywhere close to the baseball. Oh boy, did he hit that railing hard with his rib cage too. Howard.
Defensive changes in the Giants outfield. We'll get those to you in a second as Giannis takes upstairs. First, the numbers on Contos.
Just 11 games since he was called up from Fresno. 2 walks and 16 strikeouts. That's pretty good in 14 innings.
Nate Scherholtz is checked in. He's in right field. And moving from right to left is Gregor Blanco. Mets, by the way, are trying to hang on in the ninth. Nationals have runners at first and third with 2 outs. New York 3, Washington 2 in the bottom of the ninth. No swing. Full count.
Danny Espinosa is a guy up plate for the Nats.
There's a line drive headed toward the left field corner. Paul Giannis has his first hit as a Brave. It's a double with 1 out in the 8th.
That away. He got robbed of a hit back in the 3rd inning. He hooked one down the left field line. That was a hanging slider out over the plate, maybe a cutter. But Melky Cabrera raced down the line and caught one and took a hit away from him.
Here's Francisco. The news not good from Washington. The Mets bullpen strikes again. Washington's tied at 3-3.
You got a little choked up on that one, didn't you?
Just thinking about our pals Gary Cohen and Ron Darling, Keith Hernandez, having to watch that relief corps work. Hazardous duty.
A lot of the Giants' damage so far this year has come in the Central Division. Against their own division, they're 15-11. They're 3 games under 500 against the East, but 20-11 against the Central. Four 4-0 against the Cubs, 5-1 against Houston, and 4-2 against Milwaukee's where they've done most of the damage.
I think that's a sign of a good club too. I think everybody would agree that the Giants are probably better than all 3 of those teams, and they've been dominant against them. Two balls, 2 strikes to Francisco with Giannis at second in the Atlanta 8th. Braves are down 9 runs. Two outs. Ugla and Francisco are caught looking, and back to the top of the order and Michael Bourne.
Well, last year when the Braves won 6 out of 7 games against the Giants, they were all close games. A lot of 1-run games. I think everything was decided by 3 runs or less, with the exception of 1 game. Well, maybe they're getting this 1 game out of the way this year.
We haven't even talked about another man that's missing for San Francisco, and that's their closer, Brian Wilson. Obviously, they wouldn't use him tonight. But Wilson wasn't the same after a meeting with the Braves last year.
Yeah, he blew a save opportunity and went on the disabled list shortly thereafter.
But in his absence, Santiago Casillas come on and has done a terrific job closing games out. He's got 23 saves for San Francisco. One ball, 1 strike to Michael. Extra innings now in Washington. Mets 3, Nationals 3. Atlanta 2.5 back in the East.
They're throwing a lot of sliders, and it's throwing them for strikes. I know Michael Bourne's glad to see Barry Zito out of there. He was tough on him tonight.
2 strikeouts and a flyout for Bourne. And now a roller hit toward Belt at first. And that will retire the Braves in the 8th inning. 9-0 is your score. Jamison in by the Georgia Lottery and by McDonald's. 9-0 as we head to the 9th inning. Friends, SEC Media Days coverage is live on FoxSportsSouth.com. Log on now for videos, blogs, interviews, and more from your favorite players and coaches. Make FoxSportsSouth.com your landing page for everything SEC football. Changes for the Braves. Tyler Pastornicky is on to play second base for Atlanta. And Chad Durbin answers the AT&T call to the bullpen.
He's had a couple of days rest, including the day off yesterday. Third of an inning, 2 hits, no runs allowed against the Mets on the 14th, his last outing.
Chad's had a good year. And Angel Pagan drives one to left center field. That should be caught, and it is by Martin Prado. 1 out. Tyler Pastornicky in the game at second base. That's a position that the Braves were having in play in the minor leagues. That and outfield as well. So we'll see how comfortably he handles second base. And Tom has more on that.
Yeah, Chip, he played about a dozen games at second base down at Gwinnett. He did not get in a game in the outfield, but he's been putting in a lot of work today. And when I talked to putting in a lot of work during batting practice, when I talked to him today, he was anxious to get out there, but the rain may have gotten in his way a little bit. One thing that's he's working with, well, multiple gloves, of course, playing the infield and outfield, and was working hard breaking in that outfielder's glove to go get some fly balls earlier today.
And there is his first chance. No trouble getting Brandon Belt.
And all of that can only help him. The more valuable you make yourself to a team or an organization by being able to play multiple positions, that much more valuable.
There's Exhibit A of that statement. Martin Prado has played first, second, third, short in the outfield. Brandon Crawford has a couple of hits. He's also walked tonight, and he scored one of the 9 Giants runs.
Well, this no attack Giants team has been very impressive tonight.
Well, you said 3, 4, 5, 6 were keys for Jair Jurgens in the game. Melky Cabrera, an RBI, 2 runs. Posey, 5 RBIs. Angel Pagan, a couple of hits and has scored a run. That group did an awful lot of damage. That was more than enough for Barry Zito, who in his 7 innings allowed just 3 hits. And Durbin, a very impressive 1-2-3 ninth inning. Last chance for Atlanta. 9-0 San Francisco.
RBI singles by Buster Posey in the 1st and 2nd innings. That accounted for 2 RBIs, but in the 4th, Giants had a huge inning capped off by our Toyota play of the game. This bases loaded double that cleared the sacks and made for a huge inning for San Francisco, a 6-run inning. Quite a night for him. 3 for 5 and 5 RBIs.
Clay Hensley is on to pitch the 9th for San Francisco.
This is his first work since the All-Star break. Did not get in a game against Houston in their recent series at home. He's had a little trouble too. His last 12 games, a 7.59 ERA, so a chance for him to get back on track tonight. Just an inning of mop-up.
Braves know Hensley pretty well. He pitched for the Marlins in 2010 and 2011. And so Martin Prado leads things off. There's good news again to report in Washington. Josh Tolley with a go-ahead hit for the Mets in the 10th inning.
I'll bet it was to left field.
Yes.
Wherever it was. Way to go, Josh.
And that's up and into Martin Prado. Martin has one of the Braves' 4 hits tonight. That was a 4th inning single.
Brian Sabian, the GM for the Giants. There's no wallflower last year at the trading deadline either, going out and get Carlos Beltran to help them. Wouldn't be surprised to see him do the same, something similar to that this year.
To third, 1 out. Jason Hayward tries to improve on an 0 for 3 night tonight. Hope you'll stick around for Braves Live tonight, presented by AT&T. We'll hear from Freddie Gonzalez. We'll hear from the Braves locker room, and we'll have to show you maybe a highlight or two because it's all Giants tonight. Mr. Posey's had a huge game. Georgia native, 5 RBIs. One and two to Jason Hayward. Same two clubs meet tomorrow night in game 2. Mike Minor for the Braves, Ryan Vogelsong for San Francisco. Barry Zito is 2 outs away from going 4-0 in 5 lifetime starts at Turner Field.
His 7 shutout innings will get his ERA under 2 also here at this ballpark.
His ERA is under 4 now as well for the entire season. He came in at 4.01. Good for him. As Hayward is down on strikes. Zito got a big contract. The wins have not piled up the way that many in San Francisco thought they would. But Barry does an awful lot of things off the field that are great for an organization, including his work with injured and wounded troops. As a great charity that helps support wounded warriors and is to be saluted for that. And for tonight's 3-hit work in 7 innings. Tyler Pasternaky, the Braves' final hope, with the bases empty and 2 outs in the 9th. Last time the Giants won a shutout game at Turner Field was 2008. As Pasternaky singles up the middle. The man that started that game for San Francisco, same man that started tonight, Barry Zito. But the Braves still alive and a great chance to break the shutout bid here with Freddie Freeman. Freeman gets hit by a pitch. Two on, 2 out.
Look out, Freddie. Look out, Freddie. Look out, Freddie. Never mind. I think that changeup just baffled him to the point where he couldn't move.
As was said in the Cubs TV booth many years ago, he looked like a deer with headlights. Fly ball to center off the bat of Brian McCann. And the San Francisco Giants played a complete game tonight. They shut out the Braves 9-0. Barry Zito was terrific, and so was Buster Posey. That's your final. We'll talk more about it right after this.